Hi Nasdaq followers, your host Emily Jury here for another episode of Nasdaq Spotlight. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today I have a really special guest who's here in New York for the TAP Summit, Elan Mosbacher from SpotHero. You're the SVP of Strategy and Operations. Tell us a little bit about SpotHero.
So SpotHero is the digital leader in parking across North America. We've built a network of over 7,000 parking garages, lots, and valets, and we make the parking spots in those garages available to millions of drivers who use our website and apps to find a convenient place to park, to get a great price on parking, and to make it really easy for them to get in and out of the garage when they actually get there.
This is such a good idea. Like how has this not been made before, right?
Thank you. Well, we've been working on it a long time now, and it takes a long time to build a great business.
Absolutely. So you're here in town speaking at the TAP Summit. Give us a little preview about what you're going to be talking about.
So the TAP Summit we're very excited to be at, and we're going to be speaking alongside some of our friends and partners in mobility, including Waze, GasBuddy, and Via. And really the idea of the conversation is talking about the future of mobility. What does the world look like when you use an app to do something in the physical world and get around a city?
So what do you think the future of mobility is?
Well, there's a lot of interesting trends right now in mobility, one of which is cities are getting busier, infrastructure is becoming more digitized, and people are tending to use apps to get around whatever mode of transportation they prefer. And so we're going to see a lot of opportunities for transportation to become more streamlined and easier and hopefully make our lives better.
So SpotHero recently announced a Series D fundraise, correct?
Yes.
So what does that mean moving forward for you guys?
So we announced the Series D round of funding from Macquarie and Union Grove and a number of our existing investors. And what that means is it gives us an opportunity to capitalize on some of the trends I mentioned earlier and focus on three main areas of the business. The first is we want to continue to innovate to make parking and getting around your city as easy as possible. And through doing that, we'll continue to grow our business. The second thing that we're trying to work on is help tech-enable parking operators, right? The parking industry is a traditional business, and we're helping bring that traditional business online and provide the software and hardware necessary to build those businesses and provide the customer experience that you or I might expect when we're going to park at a garage. And then the third piece is that we're building a mobility platform or a layer of technology that other technology and mobility companies can plug into when their audience wants or needs parking as part of their customer journey.
So you're not busy at all. You guys are working on a lot, obviously. Something you said is the second part is that parking is such a traditional industry. Have you gotten pushback or has it been really welcomed by everyone in that industry, all the technology that you're working on? So
we've been working on this a long time, and I'd say as many industries, there's innovation in many industries, it takes time, right? Mm-hmm. And so when we started this business, it was a cash and paper business, and over time we built a website, and then we built a mobile app, and now we have APIs. And over time, as people get more comfortable and see the value of digitizing a business, the easier it gets.
Absolutely. So you mentioned a little bit of this earlier, but something I'm super fascinated with is your partnerships and your integration with Google Assistant and Waze. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, sure. So what we're seeing in the market is really interesting, which is when we started this business, we started as a website, and then we built a mobile app. But there's a whole bunch of other technology companies and mobility companies, interfaces, where parking is also really relevant. So whether it's a voice assistant, a connected car solution, your favorite app on your phone that helps you get from A to B, or maybe even one day autonomous vehicles, parking is an important part of that customer journey. So specifically around Google Assistant, at the Consumer Electronics Show, Google announced that Google Assistant, their voice technology, would be integrated with Android Auto, which is Google's solution for like the connected car, or kind of the screen that's in your car that you interact with your car with. And drivers really want three things, right, when they're in their car. They need navigation, mm-hmm. right? They need some sort of entertainment or audio or media when they're in the car. And then when they get to where they're going, they want parking. Right. So that integration specifically, and the headline of that story at CES, was that in your car you could speak to Google and you could order coffee from Starbucks, or you could get parking from SpotHero.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And how has that rollout been?
So that rollout was pretty exciting. It was something that we worked on very quickly and got a lot of attention and excitement. And that was really an early example of some of the trends you're going to see over the next few years, where really data companies are going to start doing more commerce, and companies that may help you get from A to B in one way are going to start to kind of horizontally expand. So think of any app that you use on your phone. It's going to over time want to have help you kind of fulfill the jobs to be done on more and more parts of the customer journey. So if you're getting somewhere, how do you handle that last mile? Or if you're planning to go somewhere, how do you figure out that parking is really convenient so you don't have to circle around the block looking for parking, you don't have to worry about how much it's going to cost, and all the other challenges that come along with parking.
Seamless.
Yeah, seamless.
So here at Nasdaq, we're focused on the tech journey.
Sure.
How is SpotHero rewriting tomorrow?
So if we look at the past, right, the way that you would get into the city is you would get in your car, you would kind of worry, when I get there, where am I going to park, how much is it going to cost, circling the block. In fact, there are studies that show that up to 30% of congestion in cities comes from people circling the block looking for a place to park. So what we're really doing is we're helping the parking industry digitize itself so that that parking is visible and you know how much you're going to park and how much you're going to pay. And then our hope is by doing that, cars can get to where they're going faster and we can reduce congestion in our cities.
Absolutely. That sounds like a good tomorrow for me.
Sounds great.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing this with me, and I'm excited to see what SpotHero does next.
Emily, thanks for having me.